All right, hard yarders. That was a very good episode. We were joined today by Alanah Yukich. If you're watching at home, you can see behind her the alltradescover.com.au. The logo. All Trades Cover, if you're a tradie, big business, small business, specifically the little guy, the sole traders, they sort of specialise in that. If you need insurance, liability insurance, that sort of stuff, cover your tools. Not going to give any specific examples because John doesn't like it when we give examples, because if we don't cover them, then he gets in trouble. So, but hit them up, please. Any Hard Yarns listeners that have that ability to put yourself in contact with All Trades Cover, helps us out. So if you give them their business, it probably goes to us. But so hit up alltradescover.com.au and just hit him up because John's a fucking legend. You guys would have heard him on the podcast a few times. Travelled across Australia with 6 camels. He's a fair dinkum Aussie. Yes, he probably needed. Crazy. I think he needed insurance himself. But this episode's also brought to you by Goat Tape. Goat Tape helps you breathe at night during running, during athletics. We want to try it on later. Definitely opens up the airways a lot. Helps with recovery. You're getting more oxygen, and I've noticed it mainly at night because you're getting in more oxygen. You wake up, you feel bouncier. I've actually started using the mouth tape the last 2 nights. I didn't like the idea. I felt a bit restricted. But fuck, man, I've woken up the last 2 mornings just exploded out of bed. So there's definitely something to it. I don't know the exact science. Maybe they can send me a script to read, but I always feel scripts are a bit disjointed. But mate, Go Tape, get around them. Use the code word hard yarn for your percentage off. I think it's about $10 off, and it helps us out. And then you're just going to feel a lot better. Also, this episode is brought to you by Feed supplement. You can get beat. Do you take supplements?
Here and there.
Here and there. Well, these are more for general health, I think. So we got the beef, liver. We've got the organ complex. Oysters are very popular.
Wow.
Collagen. Which
Love collagen.
Don't know if you,
if you haven't noticed.
Using the collagen. It's really good for your joint pain and stuff as well.
100%.
And they got the honey, real good honey. So get involved with Feed. Again, use the code word HARDYARN. Very good. And also, if you're attending my Return to Zero conference, you're going to get a free beef organ, I think it is. Oh no, beef liver supplement.
That's a win-win.
I think it's about $60 for a tube anyway. So that's the price of the tickets.
It. So it's free then.
So perfect.
Girl math right there.
Yes, girl math. And then finally, this episode is brought to you by Kahuna Golf. Look good, feel good, play good. Do you play golf? I'll take you out and you can wear a hat. And
get me out there. Make it top golf.
Yeah, you'll play.
We'll start there, the driving range.
You'll play good if you wear it. So look good, feel good, play good. I seen Jimmy the other day, and we're actually going to work on a Hard Yarns Kahuna Golf collaboration for a T-shirt.
Oh, send me one.
So we're going to get a purple one, I think, and might be white and purple. I don't know. We'll work on it, but it's got to go with the purple.
Yeah, get the vibes.
Kahuna Golf, they're all very bright Hawaiian sort of colours. So get involved. Again, code word hard yarn for your percentage off. But we were joined today by Olympic 400-metre hurdleist Alanah Yukich. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Do you remember what we spoke about?
we went a bit all over the place.
Yes.
But just about mindset, how I changed my mindset pretty much got me to become an Olympian, really. I think in the big scheme of things, and how, mindset and self-belief can really change.
Yes.
Can change your life.
100%. This is really good for anyone who loves those sort of motivating stories, how you can change the direction of your life, and being a country girl from out in Gin doesn't fucking hold you back. You can represent Australia at the highest peak. So thanks so much for joining us, and you're going to enjoy this episode, listeners, so let's get hard.
Welcome to Hard Yarns Podcast.
I am fucking fat.
Anything Chris White says, please disregard it.
5D is actually a state of being. It's a unity consciousness.
That was Hard Yarns with me, Frankie Rose. So I'm going to throw it over to your co-host,
Daniel Jelby.
And Cameron Branch.
I would do this and then I'd gong.
Free in attendance for the millions listening at home. Let's get hard.
But fuck yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Welcome to the Yarns. But before we get into things and what you've been doing and what's happened recently, just maybe explain to I guess, the listeners at home who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so my name's Alanah Yukich. I am an Australian Olympic 400-metre hurdler. My last year kind of qualifying to the Olympics was chaos and an absolute dream in a way.
Yeah.
But now being able to call myself a professional athlete, even though we don't really get paid for our sport, it's great. But yeah.
Yeah, athletics is one of those ones where it's, I know they're trying. Like you see Sprint, like the
documentary
Netflix doco series.
Yeah.
Like I love that, and I'm a big athletics fan. I used to do athletics. I was actually a state 400 champ when I was
back in
younger.
the day.
Okay. So I love athletics, and so I watch the Diamond League, and I get into it not just at Olympics time, but it doesn't get like what it should.
No, not at all.
And that must be hard enough as it is.
Yeah, that is trying to balance that is definitely challenging, and just because I'm so new to like the professional scene of the high level, it's just trying to figure out the balance of like, you know, the load and the working and trying to find sponsors and things like that. And people don't really care now it's Olympic year done. They don't really care about track and field.
Yeah.
It's like everyone keeps thinking they come to me and they're like, oh, so you're going for the next Olympics? I'm like, there's actually races.
Yeah.
Like in between that, like it's not just like we train for 4 years and then we just compete. No, it doesn't.
And I guess there's training peaks and loading and stuff like that. But
exactly.
You got big events. You just did an event. Well, is that your first run back or from recently?
Yeah. So this weekend or these last 2 weeks, I've kind of just come back to racing after the Olympics, and I think that mentally is just a big adjustment for me, just because the expectation on yourself and myself, things like that. Was actually unwell those both races, but I just had to get a start somewhere. So obviously the time and everything wasn't great, but we had to start somewhere. From there it's just building.
Awesome. Well, I guess even like if we go back to the very start, because I know just through my own journey through athletics, the reason I ended up choosing footy and I went down the footy path.
Yeah.
I had cricket. Dad said I couldn't play cricket and do athletics at the same time. So I chose athletics because I was...
Yeah, summer sport.
I was the state 400 champ at under 15s, and I think I got selected to represent Australia, and I was like, yep, that's my sport. That's what I got to do. And then I started playing football, and the stress was so much less because it's a team sport. And I was like, fuck athletics. So like, well, go back to when you're a kid and when you're starting to do this, because I don't know, do you set out to be an Olympian?
No, so I actually started athletics when I was about 14, I think it was. So I grew up in Gin, which is like country town. Not really country anymore these days, but still country town. And I kind of grew up with netball. Like I think most females do.
Yeah, you're quite tall as well.
Yeah, tall. And then it wasn't until high school where I went to in the Swan Valley, went there, Swan Christian, and someone kind of was like, oh, you're fast. Like I went to like, you know, inter-school carnival and was winning, and then pretty much was like, oh, okay, is this what I got to do? And then toss between netball and athletics, but I have to, I loved the fact that like at the end of the day, athletics is like if you run a certain time, no one can take that away from you, versus a team sport. There's like a lot of, you know, controversial, this person works better with this person, so you might get selected to team up, you know, those kind of things. Because I was at that level of like regional state level for netball, but I always somehow miss out on state because I just wasn't what they wanted. Yeah. And unfortunately that's just the way of sport sometimes. But with athletics it was like, if I run a certain time, you can't take that away from me. Yeah. So
well, you're accountable to yourself as well. And in hindsight, now I look back on it, that's probably the more empowering thing I could have done, and probably the least stressful, because I don't have to worry about what anyone else is doing. I just have to worry about what yourself. I'm doing. But I guess that's a big part of any sports. But when you're starting out, I guess as a youth, and you're doing it because I guess you've got the talent.
Yeah, you've got the talent, or you just enjoy the sport, really.
Yeah, well, this is it. So did you enjoy it, or was it or both?
Pretty much both. I loved the atmosphere of track, like on a Friday night, going down to the track, and it wasn't just like, I did athletics, but I also really like the senior kind of aspect, where say seniors on like a Friday or Saturday afternoon, it's like you go to race and you race against your time. You don't necessarily race against your age group. So I like that aspect, because I would be racing against girls that are older than me, or even some girls that are younger than me, running better times. So it's like kind of that aspect. So yeah, I really loved the vibe of a Friday night, and then compete, and then you grab dinner with everyone after.
Well, there's something motivating as well, like when you're bettering yourself and you start to see the improvements.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like it's addictive. Like it's an addiction.
It really is. Like doing, you know, training, getting your times, and then like executing that within a race, and then if you don't execute it right, you get addicted, and you're like, the next one, come on.
Yeah. And then injuries.
Yeah.
Have you suffered many injuries?
Yeah,
Well,
I
obviously,
I got a stretch fracture in my hand.
So what, that was falling through?
Yeah, I had a hurdle accident probably the start of the new year.
Yeah.
Was going too fast, which is a terrible problem to have over a hurdle. And then just got my leg caught on the hurdle and just went straight down on my wrist.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know I did anything. So I did this in America, and then things weren't going well. And I was like, I might just jump on a plane home, because it was cheaper for me to come home and get support over here than it was for me, because I don't have like a massive team in America. Like I'm not part of like college or anything anymore over in America. I'm just got a small training group with my coach and that. So it was cheaper for me to come back to get it all looked at.
Because of the healthcare as well?
The healthcare and stuff like that, being an immigrant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a big setback as well. Like,
exactly.
Because you would have had a training program you've got to stick to over there.
Yeah. And then just certain things were kind of like telling me to come home. And I'm so grateful, like, in a way that I came home, just because I can connect really, with my family and friends. And it is a bit challenging because my coach is she is in America, but Wace have been so good. Even Lynn Foreman, who I'm like training under right now, that's like monitoring me, has been so accepting and good. Because like, hypothetically, I want to be back in Australia.
Yeah.
Like I've been over in the college system for 4 years, then did one extra year after college, and that's kind of the year that I qualified for the Olympics. So Perth is home. Perth is what I want to be here, but it's just trying to figure out the right balance and the right community for me to train in and that.
Yeah.
So we're still learning.
And hurdles is obviously same as Nina. We asked Nina, like, how the fuck do you get into pole vault? Hurdles, like, I mean, when I was unco. That was the one where Dad was like, just stop. Stop doing it. You can't do it. I couldn't do high jump either. I was terrible at them both. But you'd see the people with the right technique and you're like, fuck, they just float over. So how did you stumble into, because I know it's part of Little Athlete.
So when I came to start Little Athletics around 14, the coach that I came to was like a sprint and hurdle coach. So I just naturally did sprint hurdles. And then the first kind of events that I would do was like a multi. I was like a good multi as a junior.
Yeah.
But then Mum was like, I can't afford for you to have all these coaches, because there's not really like a multis coach in WA. There's like multiple kind of coaches you can kind of train with. So Mum was like, nah, pick one. So I just did the sprint hurdles, and then obviously with Little Athletics you do like the 200 meter hurdles, and then the 200 meter hurdles goes into the 400 meter hurdles, and I fell in love with the event.
You got the physique, the height as well.
And the stride.
And the stride. And that's what I always found myself in between.
Yeah.
Like 200, I could go okay. 800, I could go okay. But 400 was that perfect little happy
it's nice.
medium. And it's a fucking hard race, man. And so you don't just do the 400. You've added in a fucking extra part of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm crazy, I think. Something like that.
It's insane to me when you're watching these athletes just fly over them. But what time do you do for the 400 hurdles?
So the 400 hurdles, my PB is a 55.11.
Fuck.
Yeah.
My best was, I think, 52.9 without. Like that's ridiculous. But that's insane that you're adding in jumping over that. That's ridiculous.
I love it. I don't know what. I think I love the rhythm and the mentalness, because it's like it is physically more challenging than a 400, but mentally for myself it's actually easier, because you don't really think about, like with the 400 you start and you think about the end of the race the whole time, versus hurdles you have so many obstacles in the way that you're not even thinking about the finish till you get to hurdle 10, and then you're just like, oh, Hail Mary, just get to the finish.
Well, let's go back to like how you actually start to qualify for the Olympics and what that looks like. When you actually started to think there was a genuine possibility. So where does that begin? So obviously transition from a junior to a senior, that was really challenging for me. So I decided a bit later on to go to America, because there wasn't much support, not so much support, but there wasn't much guidance here in WA. Everyone was over the East Coast. So if you're going early, like just out of seniors, what's that? That's 16, 17?
So I made my first Australian junior team when I was 17.
Wow.
Or 18 around that time. I think it was 18.
So I had the talent already.
Had the talent. I made Australian team as a junior, so I definitely had that idea of making the Olympics as a young age from that.
I love that.
Finished high school, kind of wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do. had a gap year kind of thing, and then started university in Australia. Couldn't balance working, studying, and training. Then presented the opportunity to go to college in America. Took it because why not? You get a degree paid for, and I wasn't necessarily progressing too well here in WA, so I was like, let me go try this other thing. Went to college, loved it. Didn't necessarily gain too much. Like I still bettered myself. Still, was dropping PBs, but nothing, massively.
Yeah.
But I was fortunate enough to get an undergrad and a master's during my time there. So I made sure that my education was a priority, because if I'm getting everything paid for,
that's sick.
Why not?
Yeah.
So did that, graduated, and I kind of was like at this point, like, do I continue with athletics or do I stay or what? But I knew it took me like a year to adjust from Australia to America. So I decided to stay in America one more year because I was there. I was already based there. I was connected with another coach post-college, and me and her got on so well.
Yeah.
An absolute blessing in disguise. And we sat down together and we're like, what are our goals? And because it was Olympic year, I said, I'm going to go all in for Olympics. Like, at least give myself 1 year.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like, at least I've told myself, I've already dedicated 10 years of my life to the sport. So what's another 1 year?
100%.
And then we focused more on the 4x4 relay, because we thought that was more realistic goal for me as an individual athlete, just transitioning from college to this professional scene.
So trying to get in the top 4 in Australia.
Top 5 is what usually takes. So top 5 in Australia, and then you go to World Relays, which is the qualifying period for then the Olympics. So was running really good times. Every race I was running that 2024 season, I was PBing. So training was going really well. Life was going really well. Then came back for nationals, because that was kind of like my the criteria. I had to come back. Got jet lagged hell, I can tell you that much. If anyone watches my nationals race from that year, I was jet lagged, but luckily still placed top 4.
Yeah.
So got the call to make World Relay team. So that was like a little ticking box.
Awesome.
Go to Bahamas, which is terrible place to go.
Horror place.
I know, what an absolute terrible. We stayed at the Atlantis, which is like.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is that in what's that place? Nadi? No, that's Fiji.
Yeah, but it's like Disney, like a big freaking castle.
Yeah, we stayed around the corner from that when I went.
I'm like,
there.
how like.
And the aquarium.
Yeah, there's an aquarium and there's water slides.
It's big.
I didn't get to go on any of it because I was like, I'm there for World Relays.
The water slide goes through the shark.
Goes through the sharks.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to go on it. Like, I'm literally staying at one of the top resorts in the world.
Incredible.
And we didn't even get to experience it.
That's going to annoy me now. I can't remember what that. We need our Jamie back. We had him for like 5 weeks and he's gone. But
he just doesn't like me. It's fine.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, that's fucking such a good resort.
It's so nice. So we got looked after so well when there.
Yeah.
Team was really good. Unfortunately for us, we missed out by I think 2 spots for making the Olympics, and that was just a big setback. Not a setback, but it was just mentally like this is what I thought was the best chance. And because I focused so much heavily onto the relay program and the relay, it was, I think, end of May by the time I actually was able to race for my individual event, and cut off for qualification was end of June. So I literally had 4 weeks to get my shit together.
Holy shit. Well, that's not an easy change to running flat track to hurdles.
No. So I was fortunate enough to continue doing hurdle training obviously through it all, because at the end of the day, post World Relays, even if we made it or not, I was still going to do some hurdles competitions just for myself. It was just more that was the focus of traveling and competition, sacrificing other events for that. But yeah, then I pretty much went on this crazy journey of racing 5 races within 16 days over 5 different countries. 3 of them in 3 days in 3 different countries. Yeah, I still can't comprehend how the heck I did that.
Yeah, I do recall you putting up a post and you did times on there.
Exactly.
That's fucking insane.
So it just goes to show mentally if you have something.
Because even flying and stuff would take a toll, hey?
Yeah, so pretty much I was lucky enough most of Europe, once I was in Europe, the flights weren't too bad.
Yeah.
But I was having less than 24 hours between competitions, including travel.
Which is still recovery,
Yeah.
blood flow on a plane.
Food, wasn't really eating probably as much as I want. I think I had a race and the travel I went to was US, then I had Bahamas, from Bahamas to Spain, Madrid, then for 3 days was Madrid, Geneva, Switzerland, and then Poland.
Yeah.
So I remember the competition after Madrid. I literally was eating a baguette and a croissant in the morning at 6 a.m. at the airport, because what else are you supposed to eat?
Now, this is the one thing I look at, like, especially you watch for sprint, for example, and you watch what they're eating, because they are obviously power athletes, and you're in that category, I guess, because it's still sprinting.
Yeah.
So watching all of you guys eat what you eat, and if anyone hasn't been on your Instagram, go have a look, because you are shredded. There's a little bit, there's ripped and there's fucking shredded. So how do you guys all, is it the training? Are you using it because you're using it for fuel and just burn it off?
We just burn through it. So obviously, like, most athletes will still try and eat as healthy as they can. Yeah. But because we burn it so quickly, we don't have necessarily watch too much. Yeah. But I also think that something is better than nothing. Yeah. So especially during my journey, you're in airports, you don't have access to healthy foods, nutritious foods. So at that point in time, it's like just getting something in me is so much better than not eating healthy at all. It's
crazy, because in hindsight, I'll always look back on, and I'm too old now. I tried to play. I'll do a sidetrack here. I tried to do footy training on Wednesday night. 38 this year, so I'm getting older.
30 years young. Yeah, 30 years young. So it's not old.
I don't think I've played properly for a couple of years. I do ultra marathons now. Okay. And was flying. Thought I was fucking flying, and then bang, sniper got me, hammy, gone. So
oh no,
I can't do it anymore. But I look back in hindsight on like my time as, like, I played waffle footy, so semi-professional. Yeah. And again, you fucking just eat whatever the fuck you want. You think you're invincible. Yeah. And you very quickly, when you finish, you find out that's not the case, because it all goes
that's what I'm not. I'm just trying to push my athletic career as long as possible.
But I look back and I'm like, and they throw it in your face. They tell you the whole time, you need diet, you need nutrition, you need stretching, you need rest. And as a young person, you ignore it. And you just go, mate, look at me. I'm fucking good. Like, but I would have looked back on it. Now I look back on it going, fuck, you really could have done a lot more. You could have got a fuckload
it's
more.
It's all about
the
1%. Everything's 1%er.
And that's not just me. That's everyone. So if everyone caught onto that, they probably would have all escalated as well. But yeah, if I guess, is it the wisdom as you get older you start to see that, or you're still young enough, I guess, in that category? But
I'm still, I'm obviously the older one coming into it. So I'm 27 now. So I probably got maybe one more Olympics. I would love another Olympics after that, because obviously it's in Brisbane, but I will happily for the next 4 years just focus on that.
31's definitely an Olympic sort of timeline. But
yes.
Yeah, 30, you'll be 30.
So I'll be the LA one, I'll be 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's perfect. And then I don't know if about the next after that.
Because you see all the sprinters, they're all about 25 to 32-ish.
Yeah, they're around that. So usually you can peak between 23 all the way up to 32 is kind of like the zone, depending on obviously every body type is different. Everyone covers differently and things like that. But for me as well, it's like the balance of like life. How much more do you want to sacrifice for your life, of your life for a give and take?
And in that world champs that you were trying to qualify for with the relays, who you up against in that? Like, who ended up winning? Netherlands? Did they win in the Olympics?
Yeah, I think Netherlands. No, USA won the Olympics.
They won the Olympics.
Yeah, okay. But USA don't take their prime team when they go to world relays.
Sorry, they won the.
They won their 4x4.
4x4, yes. Yeah.
And then that's why Femke kind of sacrificed herself in that 4x4 mixed relay, and she kind of crumbled, unfortunately. But that's what happens. Do you sacrifice the event for yourself, or do you focus on yourself, or do you focus on the better of the team?
And it's interesting, like, picking an event. Like, you see like a Noah Lyles, for example, who's an elite 200-metre runner. You'd expect he'd be able to do very well in the 400, as I would have thought. Like Usain Bolt back in the day, he would have been elite.
Well, he's talking about jumping into the 4 recently.
Really?
Yeah. So he's got his podcast.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah,
and he's been talking about potentially doing it. But
you'd think so. But then he did so well in the 100.
He did so well in 100.
Like he's closing and finishing.
It's just there's so much depth in the US. Like, it's just insane that
you'd have to pick, wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. So then you've gone from trying to qualify in flat track, and now you're like, fuck, I need to adjust back.
Yes, so pretty much just switching, like, mentally. It's also because, like, I was the anchor leg for the 4x4 in Bahamas, and I think that mentally took, like, obviously it's a team event, so, everyone does their best, but mentally it took a lot for me.
A lot of responsibility.
Responsibility, which from then having to change mentally, get on that trick, it was just like a lot. But I think my biggest gain from my 2024 season is my mental strengthness, and I worked on that so much with my coach and that, and I think I wouldn't be sitting here calling myself an Olympian if I didn't change my mindset and change the way I looked at life.
Well, fuck, okay. I like mindset, so let's go down that. So mindset, like Nina talked about that sort of mindset shift in her, almost manifestation.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And we talk manifestation quite a lot, but I sort of think life's a manifestation. You're sort of constantly living what you're putting out there. And what was the mindset shift for you? Like, where did you go, nah, I'm fucking doing this?
Yeah, so pretty much once I moved to my coach and we sat down and just have a chat about it, and she gave me some little things to change, the way I speak to myself. Instead of I can, it was I am going to be. Like, instead of I can be an Olympian, it's no, I am going to be an Olympian. So I literally spoke to myself for about 365 days. I either wrote in my journal or I said to myself in the mirror, I am an Olympian, I am strong, I am capable of this.
Yeah.
And just speak it into existence. You can say, I can do this, I can do that, but unless you actually change the way you talk to yourself, the way you act, the way you behave, in your environment.
That word, I am, is as opposed to I can,
yeah.
I will, I want. Like,
no,
I
they're all still having doubt in the back of your head. You're still creating a space for your subconscious to create this doubt, and then obviously when you don't get there, you're gonna have, oh no, I didn't think I was gonna fully. No, you're committing to yourself. You're committing to the program in your life that this is going to happen.
Well, there's something so motivating watching someone push themselves to the limits of what their body can achieve.
Yes.
And I truly believe that almost everyone on this planet can do something that is going to be elite level.
Of course. In sports and music and anything, if you really just hone in.
And when you see, especially in athletics, you got so many people around the world trying to be number one. Just trying to be number one. And if you can get to that number one, that's fucking...
It's insane.
That's incredible.
It's the difference between, like, even Gabby Thomas, who's the 200 meter, she won the Olympics.
So good, yeah.
So I know her a bit personally as well, and she literally said, like, she wouldn't have been there. Like, that's what makes her different between everyone else is her mindset. She said, you can be fitness or you can be strong. Like, at the end of the day, we're all grinding away. We're all kind of doing a similar program. So what's going to make you differ? It's your mindset. And if you don't think you can go out there and execute it, you've lost the race already.
It's maintaining that through life and through everything, because it's very hard to maintain that focus. And this is where people go off track. Like McGregor's that perfect example. You watch how he used that, I guess, that power of visualization, where he wanted to be, what he was going to do, and speaking it into existence. You get ahead of yourself, and look, he's gone down that path of, it looks like he's gone, fuck knows what he's done with himself. But yeah, I think you can get ahead of yourself.
Yes.
You have to realise it's a consistent thing.
But that's also about balance as well. I think Nina is a great example. Is like, you can have great, strong mindset, but you also need to have balance, and you have to have a life as well. I think that was something that I've learned as well, is you can be driven, you can be committed, but you also have to have your time off as well. You can't be go 24/7, because otherwise you're going to break. So being conscious of those efforts and making sure you're allowing yourself times to have a meltdown if you want, have a cry, or catch up with friends and family, because it's all about balance and it's all about mental health. So you need to have those breaks.
Yeah. And did you do vision boards?
Yes,
I see you did vision
I
boards?
do.
And that was insane.
I do vision boards. I like to manifest my year. I even draw out my race before I even run my race. So every race at the Olympics, my heat semis and my heats, prelims and that, I actually drew out my race plan, and then I would look at that, visualize and look at that kind of plan and execute it that way. So
how do you plan out a race? Like, I don't know, when I used to run a 400, I knew I had general tactics, because especially as you're younger, you sort of have to time your real kick. But I would always start strong, cruise across the back straight, and then really ramp it up around the second last.
So with hurdles, it's all about stride pattern. So it's like what kind of pattern you're going to work with. So obviously you want to be hurdling with your dominant leg, but also you get to a point where you're going to fatigue, so you're going to have to start hurdling with both legs. So we have to learn to hurdle with both legs. We have to be comfortable enough to hurdle on our unpreferred leg.
So this is the other leg going over first.
Yes. We don't hurdle with the same leg the whole time.
Really?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not think that would have been.
You have to be able to do it. So obviously there's some athletes that can just dominate the whole time and be the same leg, but to not lose any time down, you want to be trying to, every touchdown is technical, and we record our touchdowns and our change downs and things like that. So I usually go 15 to about hurdle 7.
Yeah.
And then I do 16 home.
Wow.
So I'll be the same leg to about hurdle, and then I'll have maybe 2 hurdles with them out.
So
of the
you
third.
won't go left, right. You'll go left.
I'll go right, all the way to hurdle 7, and then I will have 2. Hurdle 8 will be unpreferred. Hurdle 9 will be preferred. Hurdle 10 will be unpreferred.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and then you have to take in consideration sometimes races. Like right now, I'm still getting into it. I'm not at peak physique, so my changing is going to be different. So now I'm like, okay, I'm not at Olympic speed right now.
Yeah.
So I need to change down maybe hurdle 6 or hurdle 5 or it's windy on the back straight today. Okay, we might have to change down earlier, or there's a tailwind. Okay, we can probably push that hurdle out.
And there's
a
also
little bit longer.
Everyone's an individual, so they respond differently to different training
different
programs.
spawns, different heights. Everyone's got different stride pattern. Like everyone's different length.
So even like timing your training load for what it could be for you might be completely different for another person.
Especially right now, coming back to Perth and WA and Australia in general, like our season technically nationals is in April. But I'm not trying to plan for April. I'm planning for September, which Worlds is.
Yeah.
So it's having that balance of, we want to have a little peak, but not really peaking, because at the end of the day, we want to be peaking for September. So mentally as well, it's like you're seeing other girls that just have their goal to make nationals. That's their goal, to kind of make they're all peaking well.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, I'm not there yet, but you have to understand, like, we have a bigger goal at the end of the road, and staying conscious, staying present to that goal is the way to go.
100%. That's a challenge as well.
Yeah.
That's a mental strength as well, to be able to, unlike I did on Wednesday night, hold yourself back and realise you can't go.
Yes.
But I guess understanding mentally, even if you come second or third in a
say at nationals, for instance, it's like, okay, if I don't win it, that's fine. If I come second, that's okay, because at the end of the day it's just a stepping stone to it.
So do you do trial and error? Like, okay, my recovery works best if I'm doing this, and this, and I'm eating this food, and I'm having this sort of temperatures, or is it that refined, or is it just?
I still don't want to. So at the end of the day, I don't want to be controlling my environment too much, because at the end of the day, we're traveling so much and we're competing at different places. We can't control it. So I only control what I can control. Mm-hmm. So that's just like my recovery. How quickly after a race I'm getting food in. I don't necessarily control what I'm eating, because you don't know what you have access to.
What do you do for recovery?
I love my recovery boots. I have some Normatec.
Normatec?
Yeah, Normatec, ice bath, if I can get into it. So
sauna? Do you do much sauna? Have you tried that stuff?
I've done sauna here and there. I don't really know it too much during like race time, but it's really good for travel. So if you fly straight away after flying, get that sweating out, get the toxins out. That's what I will try to do.
Yeah.
But
even
ice bath.
being on a plane, and this happens all the time, just happened with my daughter, you get sick from the people around you. So if you're constantly on planes, like, you're just trapped in this fucking metal box.
We're trapped in a box.
How do you avoid that sort of stuff?
I wear masks. I have a little travel bag that I always bring everywhere. It's got my sanitizer. I've got melatonin to sleep, my eye patches, everything like that. Compressions, compression socks. I don't really care what I look like.
Yeah.
I look like an absolute hobo at the airport. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's what works.
Yeah, because you have to think, if you're traveling for a specific if you're traveling for a holiday, I can understand, like, you don't want to get sick or whatever, but you're probably like, fuck this, I'm just going for a holiday, I'm chilling. But if you're like, I've got to meet 2 days after I land, I can't be
you don't want to be around
Noah
people.
Lyles style having COVID. While he fucking,
oh, that's the worst.
So that sort of stuff, like having any sort of flu, like a fucking heavy flu, is fucked. Like,
I also learnt to hack the system as well, flying. So I always bring like some candy or something on the flight to the flight attendants, and I make sure I'm like either one of the last people to board, and see if there's any way they can upgrade me or get me a whole row to myself. So I've learnt the system in that sense as well. So most times I either get
if that's as simple as it is,
it's so simple.
Get them some candy.
Yeah, you play the card, the Olympic card. You say that you're an athlete. You say thanks for all you've done. And, I play it up. I definitely play it up. You have to.
Surely. Like, I'm guaranteeing if
I've had a row. Most of the times I fly, I either have someone, like, I have a good seat with like good leg room. So I'm a person that I will love aisle seats, because I have to pee a lot, I have to get up and move. I don't want to be that person stuck on the window. Yeah. So I
don't mind being moved. I don't mind it, but I hate asking
people. So, but I usually ask the flight attendants, see what they can do. And like most of the times when I've flown from US to Australia, I've had a whole row to myself.
Yeah, that's sick. So you can lie down.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't need business class. I have a whole row to myself.
Yeah.
So
People have been doing that. It's like travel hacking.
Hacks.
With the I've seen with the Qantas points, like some people literally just get the cards,
yes,
and they pay them off instantly,
it's
but
crazy.
just to get the points.
It's the points.
And they end up getting a free business class to just by doing their Coles shopping, you know, like
something like if you buy like this much Pepsi, you get like this many points, and I was like, how is this?
I seen that exact one. I was like, I'd send it to my partner. I was like, we are doing this. Let's buy. I don't buy Pepsi though.
But we're buying it now.
But I guess you could, and then you could probably on-sell it. Just chuck it on.
Chuck it on something. Oh, I don't know.
That's such a good idea, man. But so obviously, we're going a long way off track. But so that mindset shift, obviously. So that happens. You start to visualize.
Yes.
And was there an inner belief? Was it an inner knowing? Because I always think it's not like I believe I can do it. And I used to say blind faith, but it's not even blind faith anymore. It's just like, I'm just doing it.
You're just doing life. It's just like it gets to the point that you've convinced yourself or you've changed that mindset, how you view yourself, that it's just reality now.
And do you find you have to pinch yourself a little bit? Especially you've gone to the top level Olympics. But don't you have to pinch yourself because you're constantly shifting goalposts. You're like, okay, well, I'm an Olympian. How good? Now I want to be a medalist. Now I want to be a gold medalist. Me, for example, I look at this and I set, listeners know, I set this as a goal. I want to be a full-time podcaster. And I'm doing it. And then instead of me being happy, like, I achieved my goal, I'm like, now I want to be earning millions and I want to be
Yeah, no, it's insane. Like, to think that I made the Olympics and, like, that's like a lifelong dream that any athlete has. And I'm like, now what? Like, it's like, now?
I was literally on the way here going, like, you're doing it, man. Just chill.
Yeah.
Like, it's all good.
Yeah,
you're fine.
exactly.
You're like, you're healthy. You've got good relationships. You've got the dream job that you've always wanted. I'm going to Thailand next week. I'm going to see Oasis in July, like over in Manchester. Like, I've got some fun things going on. I'm living the life that 5 years ago, I wrote it down. I said, why aren't I happy? Why aren't I fulfilled? And I guess you have to come back to go, I'm so grateful for what I've got right now, even if it's the smallest thing.
It's the smallest stuff. So, for me, I like, obviously the next goal is the next Olympics, but I've also learned that you have to take every year for what it is. You can't get too sucked into that, because at the end of the day, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Well, how do you manage that? Because as an elite athlete, you can't afford to take the foot off the pedal.
No.
But you do have to have an appreciation for where you've been and what you've done.
What I've done and things like that. So for me, it's just kind of, having minor goals, set smaller things. And for me also, it's like, okay, if I want to keep doing this for the next 4 years, how am I going to support myself?
Yeah.
So right now it's not necessarily, training's still going well, things are going well, but I need to start putting my work in as for my personal development, because at the end of the day, I don't want to be trying to hustle when I'm in an Olympic year. So trying to start doing the groundwork now, doing a lot of community work, doing a lot of reaching out, showing my story, sharing my mental health journeys and things like that, just to inspire and to hopefully gain something, later on.
Even if it's a lesson for yourself, because that's all that's important in the end is yourself. And that sounds selfish, but it's something I've sort of realised lately is probably the most selfless thing you can do is be selfish.
Yeah.
Think of yourself, get yourself in the right place, and then you can look after others. The old oxygen mask analogy. Look after yourself first so you can look after others.
Yeah.
And it's infectious and it's contagious, and people will learn from that themselves, and they'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
And if we all just focus on ourselves, we don't have to worry about what everyone else is doing, what you're doing wrong and what you're doing wrong. You can go, right, well, I'm all right with me. That's all that matters.
Exactly. So I have like a balance. Like right now I'm doing a lot of public speaking work and things like that too, like going to schools. But I also have a balance of, okay, I do about 2 or 3 community things a month.
Yep.
And if someone comes to me and says, hey, you want to do it? If I have a free availability, I'll do it for free.
Yeah.
But if I have capped myself, you have to know a balance between what you're worth and also the giving back as well. So there's that real fine balance for me that I'm learning.
Yeah.
Because as an athlete, we have so much knowledge, we have so much to give and experience, but also it's like we don't want to get taken advantage of. So I tell myself, per month, I allow myself to do about 2 or 3 community things, depending if that's presentations or going out to people or even just like helping another athlete with coaching or something like that. And if you tell me enough in ahead, then I'll make time for you. But if you come to me next week and say, oh, sorry, we got this, I'm like, sorry, I'm booked out already.
You got to have boundaries, definitely. And I guess sometimes the things like, I mean, you can go and you see these people, for example, who go and feed the homeless or whatever, and then they film it, and it's more of like an ego-serving thing, and you're like, well, what if you just gave this person a bottle of water, or just did it, like those sorts of things, and that might be you talking to a younger athlete on the track, just giving them a couple of tips or like how to maintain that sort of that focus when it comes to trying to be on track and becoming a Olympic. Maybe it's just that one little comment. It doesn't have to be something that's put out there for everyone. So I like that. But I guess where like you've found this place in your head where you're sort of okay with what you've done, but you still are trying to make the next Olympics. So
yes,
what do you do? Have you set more? So visions,
goals? So this year myself is just making world champs. That's kind of the goal right now.
Where's that?
That's in Japan, September. So
and then how do you so that's great.
Yes.
Who does Australia take you over? Do you qualify or do you have to get sponsors?
So so if you qualify, Australian Athletics Australia will take you, but it's like your responsibility to qualify. So you don't get paid or anything to get there and things like that. So you got to go to the meets. So I'll be here in Australia till probably April, May time. And then after that, I'll go back to the US, connect with my coach again, have some competitions there, and then plan a Europe season in July time.
Diamond?
I'm at this really weird cusp right now. I'm like good, but I'm not. I'm like, so I could get an invite to Diamond League, but it just depends how everything's going.
Yeah. You have to be like top. 20?
So I'm currently 25th, so I'm like that really weird cusp. So it's like
so close.
So I could get a call up, but I feel like it's gonna be a call up if someone pulls out. But I will I'm like the kind of person, if you give me an opportunity, I'll take it and I'll run with it.
It's still 25 in the world. Yeah. I mean, but and again, have gratitude for what you've got, what you've achieved. But you want more.
I want more.
Yeah.
I just want to continue.
Are more.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think I'm going to keep doing the sport until I either not love it anymore or my body won't take it anymore. So just finding that kind of it's my first proper year and I could do what I did and made it Olympics. It's like, what else if I'm capable? If I was able to change my mindset and accomplish so much in such a short time, like what else is I really capable of?
Well, this is it. Like you don't think too far ahead. Think about what's happening right now and what you can control, but what does that future look like? Do you even know, or do you care?
So for me, I want to bring. For me, I'm a model and an athlete. Yeah. I want to bring more representation of athletes into the modeling industry as well. Yeah. I want to continue to stop seeing models being represented on activewear brands. Yeah. For me, I have a massive ick with that. So that's something that also I'm kind of working on the background, is trying to be more positive, showing, it's good to be fit, toned, shredded. It's okay. Yeah. So for me, it's working on my personal brand as well as obviously still focusing on training, because that, like I said, when I get to an Olympic year, I want to be able to have my strong brand. And then I'm also with my sponsors, I'm not just picking up any sponsor left, right and center. I want people that believe in me and believe in my journey and my story. I could have signed a contract with Puma or Adidas with just a kit, but I'm like, no, if you don't respect me as an athlete and don't want to invest money, then why am I wasting your time with me? Yeah. Versus I could be doing more modeling stuff and representing more brands and showing my face and
because then you're locked in otherwise.
Yes, you're locked in.
Yeah. And what I have noticed, and I think it's for better or worse, I think it's a good trend. But fitness and health has become a trend again, which I was driving along the coast, West Coast Highway the other day.
All the run clubs?
Fucking everywhere. Party is can't even run down the coast anymore. But because
there's pros and cons to it, but there's so many good positive things compared to negatives.
I know there's body image is obviously the thing of some people are not doing it to better themselves. They just want to look good. Look, to be honest with you, whatever you need to do to get yourself in a healthy...
I think it's great.
Keep your vessel as clean.
Yeah, they sometimes wake up earlier than I do, and I'm like, good on you.
But that is one thing I am happy to see.
Yes,
I see a lot of people at the gym now. I go to the gym. I didn't gym for about 5 years again, and I'm back at the gym, and you see it's just packed. And so it is...
And there's so many gyms, and there's so many run clubs, yet they're still packed out. It's great.
For some reason, I seen this... There was an article about men getting fit, and they called it toxic masculinity, and then there was women trying to get fit, and they called it like body shaming, and I was like, can't people just want to better themselves?
Yeah,
like, and I don't
it's
like
the media trying to make media out of it.
That's what it is, isn't it? It's and this is what I'm trying to do with the podcast. Instead of like, and we fall in the trap all the time, divisive conversations, and that's what we do when we publicly commentate. If I have an opinion about something and you don't agree with it, maybe we can talk in person and be like, yeah, we can find some common ground, which I've actually been doing quite a lot lately. But then it's the people online, which is that fake. It's not real. No. It doesn't exist. And they'll just call you a dick or a fucking clown with nothing.
I find it hilarious. I sit there in the comments sometimes and I laugh.
We prod. We poke sometimes. We'll be like, oh, yeah, fuck, okay. And look, maybe we're wrong as well. It's something I've come to realise. What if you're wrong? Yeah. What if what I'm saying is actually quite dangerous and maybe I shouldn't spread that information? We have a big platform at the moment. But one thing I just see is just fucking anyone who wants to try and better themselves, especially in Australia, this tall poppy syndrome, you can have an assertion about someone just by looking at them and you get to meet them and you're like, oh, fuck, what a good person. But yeah, that aside, I do like to see the fact that there is a lot of fitness and whatnot going on. But the modelling, where that road came down, were you approached?
So I'm a really creative person, like apart from as my sport. So for me, I like to have a creative outlet, and I've just really like attached myself, loved the kind of modelling life, like creative side to it. So that's kind of, I don't necessarily do it to be a model. I do it to express myself and be a creative, and I love working with teams on a project and playing around and things like that. It's not necessarily I'm doing it to look good and to have a status or anything like that. It's just for me, it's my outlet, and that's the difference to it, I think.
And then we talked about this the other day, and again it was polarizing for having the conversation about like Marty Sheargold as well, like fucking stupid comments, but. We're also like, oh, anyone can have an opinion. Do you just shut it off and go, who gives a fuck? Use it as motivation. Where would you sit? Like, especially, I'm father of a daughter, and I sit there, and in my head, I think I'd probably go to my daughter, use that as motivation. Yeah. Be the fucking best version as you can.
I'm the kind of person, if you're giving me criticism, I'm going to take it and I'm going to prove you wrong. I know everyone's different. Yeah. And some people can't deal with criticism and things like that. But I also have learned, like, I probably wasn't like that when I was 18 years old, but I've obviously learnt through time as well. And at the end of the day, no one cares what you're doing. Like, they care for a second. You're scrolling. They see your story or your post for 2 seconds and they scroll and they forget about it. Yeah. And that's what I think about when I'm posting or when I'm doing what I want to do. I think about, do they even remember? Like, or if I'm out in public doing a shoot, they see me for 2 seconds. They're like, oh, it might judge me, but they won't remember who I was.
No, And this is exactly what I said about, like, it's hard because I'm a man and trying to say because I'm sure there were young girls who heard that and went like, I don't want to. But also there's a part of it that's like, well, we need resilience building. We need to build resilience in men and women. We need to build resilience in our kids, and sometimes we need to hear we're shit or hear we're no good because you take it and prove them fucking wrong. Yeah. Which I do like that attitude. That's
it's the country girl in me vibe.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I'll fucking get it done. Yeah.
Mum, I remember straight away when I went to high school, like, Mum always told me, oh, don't expect anything with athletics kind of situation, or don't expect anything in sport because you're country, you're good in a country, but when you go to like Perth, you're going to be just another person. And I was like, Mum, look at this. Well,
in my experience, we were always afraid of the country.
Exactly.
Lads who came over and played footy with us because we're like, well, they're coming in for a reason. They're going to be fucking good. But that's again, that sort of that resilience within the younger generations, and I do think it's because we've been gifted participation trophies, and that's, I know it's a fucking cliche, and a lot of people have talked about it, but that hasn't bred very.
I'm against it.
Yeah,
I'm so against it.
I don't think. I mean. I can say it as someone who used to win a lot of things. That it's maybe I'm coming at it from the wrong perspective. Maybe I have to look at it from the side.
Yeah,
of a kid
I totally
loses
understand. Loses a lot, but they also think that kid hasn't found what their passion is yet.
Correct. It doesn't necessarily have to be sport. It could be like, I'm the greatest artist, or I have a different eye for music or whatever, like anything.
Or anything really. It's just like. I don't know. It's a hard topic with that, participation and everything like that, because I understand I've been a winner most of my life.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I didn't win just to win. Like I worked my ass off. So no offense, but the kid's not working hard enough then.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they're just they're not in their right space of what they need to do.
Yeah, correct. It's not necessary and yeah. We do get I'm a parent.
Yeah, so you probably like,
and I look and I know I fucking help my kid too much. I know I do, and I full well knowing that we have a resilience fucking issue around the world.
I just think also when they get to the workforce and how they're going to handle rejection or how they're going to handle that.
100%.
So it's like, why give them participation trophies now? It's not like you're going to go to an interview and there's only one position. You're not going to give the job to everyone. So why are we teaching this from a young age to kids?
Yeah, and just sometimes it's just no because I said.
Yeah, especially like I think if you give participation trophies to all the kids. At least with a job, there's only one right person for a job. Just like there's only one winner in sport at the end of the day. Yeah. So I think with a job, if you look at it in that way, like there's a job out there for everyone. Yeah. If they keep working towards it.
Yeah. Well, we actually just recently set some goals. You go into the school and you set some goals with your teachers and whatnot. And one of the things where you said was like losing. Mm-hmm. I want our kid to be good at losing. And when I say good at it,
being able to say congratulations to the people that win.
Yes. And just go, okay, well done, congratulations. Yeah. And then a part of me wants to go, but also fucking don't let it happen again.
Exactly.
But a bit of a balance. And that's hard as a parent and then and moving forward, like you just want to see your kids succeed.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, you don't want them to be upset. So But at the end of the day, kids know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, they're not dumb.
No, they're definitely not. But I guess where does that you don't know what your future holds.
No.
You don't know where you want. At the moment, it's modelling, but, like everyone, we all get old. Mm-hmm. Where, do you you love creativity?
Yeah, I love creative. So I did a double master's in that. So I spent my time educating myself. So I did business. So I did my undergrad in business and a minor in psychology and did my MBA. So I don't know exactly what I want to do with that, but I made sure that I set myself up.
It's good.
And from a young age, Mum always told me that sport is never, not such sports are forever, but you have to educate yourself. You have to have something backed up. For me, I'm just trying to figure out that balance. I don't know if I want to create like a network or a platform for myself to educate people, to, doing training programs and things like that. But I think later on in life, I just need to create, I'm giving myself a lot of opportunities to set myself up for later.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what that is post-sport.
Yeah.
I definitely love the business world. I love maybe being on a board, CEO, not so much CEO, but, having that
you have
expertise.
That vision of I can run something.
Yes. I want to work for myself. I think being an athlete, you work so hard for yourself. And I think going to work for someone else is kind of definitely a bit challenging. So, future me, I want to have kids and a family, and if I want to be around my kids and be a part of their life, then the best thing is to work for yourself.
Well, that must be difficult as well. Like, I don't even know if you've got a partner. I don't know if you've got a partner.
No.
Like meeting people, you're constantly traveling. You want to have kids. Like, where does that factor in? Especially, and it's something that's not considered a lot with women's sports specifically because they want to settle down. They want to have a kid as well.
So hard.
Not for all of them, but some of them want to.
No, it's so hard. In America, I had a partner, but I realized that I don't want to be in America forever. So I had to unfortunately part my ways because you don't want to waste someone's time. Yeah. Because time is money and you don't want to necessarily. And I knew that after the Olympics that my life, I miss home. I miss my family. I miss, the country, the European lifestyle. Yeah. And home. So I'm aware of that, but I also am still traveling. So I can't do that. But it's also like, okay, I'm 27. I'm still traveling and still competing, but it's like, if I want to come home and have kids, it's such a big stress, but you just try not to think about it.
I mean, I'm a perfect example of someone who's met the perfect partner, and that was only last year. And I'm 37.
Yeah, and that's what I tell myself. I'm like, there's no rush. There's someone out there.
Yeah, so
it might not be the one, but they will work. Yeah. Not work, but they will do the job.
They'll do the job for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. Like when you're thinking of the future and stuff, it's great. Mm-hmm. It's good to have future goals and plans, but it never turns out how you think because
life changes.
I sort of think if you zoom out, if you believe in manifestation, you believe that there's like a divine spark that's sort of running everything. Really, you don't have a fucking
what I am, who I am today might be different in 4 years' time.
Correct.
Or 5 years' time or 10 years' time. So how am I supposed to like mentally start planning the one or the future things when I could be a totally different person in a few years?
Yeah. Well, so that comes back to now.
Mm-hmm.
What is like a training session look like? What is a day? What is a week?
A week.
What is it?
Yeah.
What is your morning routine? Like, do you have to supplements? You'd have to be careful with supplements these days. What you can and can't have.
So I always put whole food first. So I cook and try and plan as much as I can cooking wise, and I know what I lack and what I don't need. So then that way I can add supplements additionally that way. So I don't necessarily rely on supplements. Supplements are a supplement. For what I know, like I'm an athlete, I'm a female, iron is a lacking, so that's definitely one thing. And then protein is just your intake of protein is just insane. You just have to be doing that. So for me, a week right now, it usually consists about 3 hard track sessions a week, 2 long runs, 2 bike sessions.
What's a long run?
So
for a sprinter, what is a long run?
Yeah, so it's a long run, but it's an easy long run. So I'm not trying to go fast or anything like that. It's about, I usually do 30 minutes, about 5-6 Ks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
easy,
chill. If I'm not feeling it, might be 4.8 or it's not, I'm not out there to run fast. It's just an easy session to add in.
Zone 2, do you stick in like zones?
Yeah, zone 2 kind of area. Yeah. It's just to get, a bit of anaerobic into you, get your legs ticking over. You're not there. Like I'm a 400 hurdler. I don't need endurance. It's just good to get your legs moving, get your recovery and things like that. And then bike. And then right now, so normally I do gym 3 times a week, but with my fractured wrist, I know I had to drop my gym to 2, and then I've added in Pilates just to get more upper body in that way.
How much does it, because hurdles, I mean, I know now.
Yeah.
I didn't realise this when I was a kid, but I didn't realise how much upper body plays a factor in sprinting. So
I do a lot of compound lifting. That's what I love, and that's what I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you want to work in every body part where you can. So I love my lifting. I love my power cleans, my snatches and stuff like that. So for me, that has been a real big struggle to do because I can't grip a bar like I want to. So right now it's a lot of legs, like step ups, just bar on your shoulders, isolated kind of things, which you can still do a lot. I'm still being grateful that I can still change a lot and still keep most of it. But things that I love to feel like powerful is my snatches and my cleans. I haven't been able to do.
Yeah.
And especially coming into like a racing time, you just want to be throwing, like I love throwing weight around. I just love cleaning and just like chucking it down. So for me, I haven't been able to do that. So we've tried to find other ways that I can still work on my upper body without causing any irritation or pain. So Pilates, I've been able to do that because, the physio is watching me one-on-one.
Yeah. And now let's talk Olympics because that's obviously, that's at this stage, the pinnacle of your life. And what an achievement.
Oh, yes.
What's it like? So France this year, like Paris?
So Paris was, yes.
It's there's a bit controversial in some ways, but always every fucking Olympics is going to be considered. I didn't like the opening ceremony.
Because athletics is the second week, we actually didn't go to the opening ceremony. We were on a holding camp, and I was so fortunate that I was in a holding camp because I was like, I did not want to go to that.
What the fuck?
The opening and the closing were terrible.
I didn't watch the closing.
Oh, the closing was not even worth your time. Like, honestly.
Really? See, the opening just seemed like, why not have it in the stadium? Like, keep it all together. Like,
I can't understand.
They reached and it didn't work.
They tried to do something different and it didn't work. So now people know for future references, which is good. But I didn't like it because every country was separated. I liked how you walked together and you kind of, it was like an atmosphere and you could see other countries. But this is the boat. You just sat on a boat and you looked at, you had to like separate the boats for safety reasons. So.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, but we were lucky enough that we were not lucky enough, but we were in a holding camp, so we had our own little celebration.
What's a holding camp?
So the Olympics obviously can't hold every single athlete at once in the village.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's only, every country gets like a little like apartment tower in the village.
Yeah.
Australia, I think there was less than 400. I don't know how many beds there was, but you don't have enough beds for how many athletes that have qualified for the Olympics. So they have to schedule it, and because athletics was the second week, swimming was first, and then swimming get kicked out, and then athletics come in. So that's pretty much the cycle of it.
Yeah. And then so the village.
Oh, yes.
A lot of fun or?
I loved it. Like, it was just a little bubble.
Yeah.
And you could walk around. I actually thought there'd be more to do in the village than what there was.
Is that why what we hear the rumours? There's not much else to do there. But
I have no comment on that.
But you're surrounded by like-minded people.
It's insane. It's everyone in the pinnacle of their event, and I literally sit in the food hall, and I'm just like in awe of like, these are the best of the best. Everyone's attractive, everyone's fit, everyone's the peak of their thing, and everyone's so friendly as well. Like, obviously you can tell people that are in the zone and comp, that, but everyone was still, everyone, like I had no bad, incident. I go into there's an extra, like an activity area. I was hanging out there with some Italian water polo people. They're just like having some yarns.
Sick. Hard yarns.
Hard yarns, honestly. It was really cool, like, to have that kind of aspect. Athletics Australian Olympic Committee looked after us so well. So in our tower, or like not a tower but apartment area, so every country gets like a little apartment, and you only the country can get into that apartment really. They had food there for us. They had everything we needed. They had a barista there. I jumped on the coffee because I'm a barista back in my day. I was like, can I jump on the coffee machine? I was having a great time.
I think I saw that.
Yeah. I was so annoyed that after the Olympics I didn't get like a sponsorship for coffee, because I was like, the amount of stuff I was posting, I was like, come on, Harvey Norman, hit me up, give me a coffee machine.
Do you do you reach out to sponsors, or do they reach out to you?
Bit of both here and there. I didn't probably do as much as I wanted to after the Olympics, but I think mentally I needed to have a break and process what just happened, because I was so full on from June all the way to June and then hit the Olympics. It was insane. So mentally I needed a break. I just needed to switch off.
Yeah. I guess surely it would be it'd be sort of like what we've got. We've got goat tape, which is great for your breath and great for exercise. I might get you to try one later. So, and then, we got supplements and these sorts of things are, I guess, what an athlete would be getting approached by. Part of there.
Yeah. So the thing is, there's so many athletes, so it's hard to get into the market as well, because everyone at the end of the day is trying to find a sponsor. Yeah. And you don't want to just be getting product. And unfortunately it's like, that's what I've been reached out to a lot, but that's like, I know my worth. I spent a lot of time at the Olympics to up my social media, and I put so much attention into it, so I know my value and I know what I am worth now. Yeah. And I'm not saying I need, a $10,000 contract. I'm happy with a little bit, but it's just you're recognizing that I am worth than just a product. Yeah. Which I understand their product is money as well. They're losing out by sending me product.
But the athletes using their product is money as well. And that's the athletes themselves. And this is the thing, like obviously the Olympics is amateur. So no money in that. You're putting all your time and effort in for this. And then athletics in like just itself is not, there's not enough money in it.
There's no money.
But they have to put in the most effort.
There's so much marketing. There's so much potential. It's just a shame that there's nothing. Like, the fact that, no offense, waffle players get paid more than what we are, and I'm an Olympic and I'm an Olympic athlete ranked in the top 25 in the world.
Crazy.
And I have no salary.
It's crazy.
And there's waffle players that have a full-time job and getting paid about $40,000, maybe $60,000.
Yeah.
For waffle.
Yeah, definitely.
It is a joke.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A joke.
I guess it's where attention is. I don't know I know this is why I like sprint. Yeah. It's trying to bring.
Noah Lyles is doing an absolute amazing job.
I can see what he's doing.
Because he's trying to create, and I think he's doing more than Usain Bolt has ever done for the sport. And I know Usain Bolt is the legend and everything like that. Yeah. But Noah is also understanding, yes, I am the fastest, but I'm creating something for the sport. Yes. And that speaks so much more wonders for me as an athlete. Yeah. And I have so much respect for him. And people, Lyles. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, he's racing against amateur people. He's not going his fastest. He's making it so it seems like he's about to lose, but he's doing it because people want to see Noah get beaten. And he's creating that publicity. Yeah. So it's like so much positive things. And that's the end of the day, we need stuff like that.
Sprints good because it is flashy, it's big, it's
quick, it's so catching.
And I do like you look at him, you're like, what an arrogant prick. But also,
no, he's a genius.
No, he's a fucking genius. I love what he's doing, and I love what he's doing. This is someone who loves athletics. I see what has happened with Drive to Survive for F1. I never watched F1 ever until I watched Drive to Survive. Now I don't miss a race. I'm flying to London to go to...
because you want to see what's happening.
I'm going to watch the F1. Like, it's going to cost a bit of money. I'm going a bit earlier, going to Silverstone. Like, I don't miss a race. I get up at 3 a.m. because of a fucking documentary series. This is what Sprint, I hope, is doing, and I hope it continues to do. And I don't want it to be an every 4-year thing where everyone loves it and knows everything about every athlete for a couple of months.
That's it, yeah. So there's some more. So Diamond League obviously is the other big one that kind of everyone knows, but now there's Grand Slam, which is a new platform.
Really?
Yeah, so Grand Slam is the new, it's kind of like similar to Diamond League, but it's different. So what they're doing is it's just for sprint, it's just for track. It's not any throws or anything else. It's just track. And what they're doing is it's like over a 2 or 3 day meet. And so what happens is day 1, a 400 hurdles will happen.
Yeah.
Day 2, those 400 hurdlers will have to run in a 400 against the 400 girls. So it's competing against different like events as well. So it's like, can you back up? Okay, you win the 400 hurdles. I think the top 4 girls, if you win that race, will then go into the 400, and the 2 girls will move up to a 400. So it's like seeing who's the ultimate hybrid king. Yeah, it's really cool. So
that's...
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. It's going to happen this year. So they have announced some competitions. I think there's one in Jamaica. There's one in Philadelphia, Miami, and then I think somewhere else. But it's just trying to create more hype for the sport.
Almost like the Big Bash League for the cricket.
Exactly. It's not just like, okay, one race and you're racing. It's like, no, okay, can you back up?
Yeah.
And for someone like Sadie McLaughlin, so Sadie McLaughlin is pretty much the showgirl for the poster girl for this championship, and she's invested heavily into it. She's going to absolutely dominate, but it's just exciting to have like there's more opportunities than just a Diamond League out there for athletes to shine and to be up,
I love that.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
So that will be like what, like every month or like every fortnight or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's every month or so. I don't know exactly the timeline or what the projection is, but they, I think there's about 4 or 5 competitions, and then who's going to be named the Grand Slam of the year or whatever it is. Because
athletics in Australia it's not a thing. Like even if you'd have to get a Noah Lyles to come and do, or the best. Well, I guess if you had a world-class meet, it would be that anyway. But if you go to Europe, you see every Diamond League is near sold-out stadium.
Yes, it's insane. Absolutely insane.
The love of athletics over there. And
even in America, it's insane.
Is it?
Yeah, like I went to college for 4 years, and the level of competitions and the level of people, it's insane.
College is ridiculous, hey?
So much money. I mean, so much money.
I've only been to one college stadium, and it was a football stadium. It was Texas Longhorns.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, I went to the football. It's crazy. It's all packed out. But it goes to because they're smart with the way they do it. Is they make tax write-offs for companies, so that's how they make the money. And it's like Australia can be seeing this as an opportunity to big companies tax write-offs. They're always looking for ways to get tax cuts.
Yeah.
Let's not put it into our sports.
I mean, and
that's why most of the colleges have money, is because big people donate money like crazy.
Yeah. And considering how big Little Athletics is, like you go and see a Little Athletics meet, it is fucking packed.
It's hectic.
Yeah.
Just trying to park alone is insane.
That's it. It's ridiculous. Like I used to be at Kingsway, so Kingsway, like you can't get a fucking spot around the place. And if you see it, and especially at the youngest ages, like it's so good because all the kids get to do all the sports and they love it.
They try every event and everything,
Surely it's something worth investing in and creating a league around. Like,
We have right now we have a domestic season and it's a kind of that, but it's nowhere near as much hype. And then unfortunately they try to charge, not an arm, they're trying to charge for athletes, for spectators to come in, and it's like... We just don't get that attention, and we don't have big names. Like when I was into the sport, we had Sally Pearson, so everyone would come to see it.
Yeah.
Right now we have Gout.
Yeah.
Which is great. He's doing absolutely amazing.
It's exciting.
And I think because Noah's taken him under his wing and he's showing him how to market yourself and how to bring attention to the sport, that's such a good thing as well.
Is that an opportunity for Australia to build athletics?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Like have a face, have... a talent, who's fucking ridiculous.
We've had talent like that before, but the thing is that Athletics Australia our government have been wanting to give them support financially, so they go find it elsewhere. They either go to a different sport or they go to a different country. There's Sasha Zoya, for instance. He was a WA athlete. He was a pole vaulter / sprint hurdler, and he was getting offered more money to go get his citizenship in France. Or he has dual, I think he has South African, Australian, and France.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, straight away he got a contract easily. I think it was about, I don't know exactly how much, but it was
a lot.
No, it was a lot.
Yeah.
And so why would you want to when there's no funding here? So
I don't know. Maybe there's some billionaire who can start a league.
Some billionaire you want to give me money, honestly.
Classic. But I actually just watched I've been watching the Mr. McMahon doco series. So Mr. McMahon is like WWE, like it's fake, obviously.
Oh yeah, it's all staged.
But watching a man build something on theatre and using characters and that's exactly what you see Noah Lyles doing with this with the sprint. I think that's as much as sad as it is. No. That's what entertainment is.
That's what entertainment. I think especially so a lot of us track girls have realised this and we're starting to get into our social media more because at the end of the day, people want to know the journey, people want to know the story, people want to know. So we've had to find ways to make a living for ourselves and continue sport. So for a lot of us, we're getting into YouTube, we're getting into social media more because we understand that people don't necessarily like a pretty picture. They want to know the journey. They want to feel like they're connected and they feel like, so we've had to adapt ourselves to market ourselves and continue something for the sport, for the younger generation as well.
Yeah. 100%. We've gone all over the place, but I just want to I just want to come back to the Olympics.
Oh yeah, back to the Olympics. And, the experience. Maybe we can finish
up with that. It was like leading into it. It's obviously. Actually,
hectic.
Let's talk about them all because there's a few races in repechage as well.
Yeah. So
explain repechage first.
So repechage was new to France. This Olympics. So repechage pretty much means is that you have a first round and the top two automatically go to a semi-final and then everyone else goes into a repechage race. So it means like a second chance to qualify for semi-finals. So normally more people would go in the first round, more people would qualify for the semis, but they've reduced that and given people a second chance. Now before I even race, love this idea because you have family, you have friends coming to support you and no matter what, you have two chances. Now people tactically ran it. That's fine. That's what they're going to do. That's how they play the system. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we train our life for one opportunity. So the fact that we get a second chance to run an Olympic stadium is like it's an absolute blessing.
Yeah, I love that. And you know, especially in sprints and stuff where you get to see people false start.
Yeah.
Like to have a second opportunity. I guess fuck. And
I think it's great. And the thing is that it fills up the people are actually going to go watch more events. You're not paying $1,000 to go watch a few events. You've got repechages and they're more exciting and it's just like...
Well, there's a lot more,
there's more to watch.
Even watching at home, getting up at night, you get races, you're like, oh, sick, I didn't realise this was on.
Yeah. So for me, the first race... nervous as you do because you're walking out to 80,000 people in a stadium.
Yeah, what's that like? Because what's the biggest you've run in front of before that, do you think?
I don't even know. Not nowhere near that.
The pressure of a nation on your back as well.
I didn't necessarily feel the nation. No, I didn't feel the pressure. I was just more honoured and proud to be there and to wear the green and gold.
That's good.
And then, I had this because everyone you go into like the first rounds, you kind of go out there and you're like, you want to be tunnel vision, like focused, but you also want like, everyone says, make sure you enjoy the atmosphere. So I remember my first race, I went out there and I was so tunnel vision. And then I was like, let me have a look around. And I remember like my bubble just like expanding. So I was so tunnel vision and I expanded to look around. And I was like, no, bring it back in.
Yeah.
So my first round went out really well, went out really strong. But because I was in lane 9, didn't really know where I was. And then coming into that last 100, I kind of not crumbled, but kind of was just like, oh my God, you need to go. So unfortunately didn't make the semifinals, but had that second chance of a repechage race. My repechage race, I went more reserved at the start and just fought like hell. Like I remember getting to hurdle 8.
Comeback, yeah.
And not even hurdle 8, I was coming into the bend. So I came off hurdle 7 and I was like, this is my race to lose. Like run.
Yeah.
And just don't know what took over me. And I was just running for absolute hell.
Yeah.
Crossed the line and it was 3 of us that crossed the line. Now they they decided the first girl, the France, she went through. But for 10 minutes, they didn't know who was going to go through. So this is this is like forever my favorite moment of the Olympics, is that me and another woman came together. We condoled each other. We like held each other. We shared this moment. Like, we did not know who each other were. We did not know our backgrounds. We didn't know our story. But the fact that we were able to share the love and the passion of our sport and respect one another and how hard we fought and how we got there.
Yeah.
To just have that moment, and the stadium was dead silent for it felt like forever.
Yeah.
But they couldn't decide. Now the fact that they couldn't decide between a 400 hurdles is insane,
Yeah.
because they can't even decide. Like, they can always decide in 100 meters,
Mm.
and the fact that they couldn't even do that for a 400 meter hurdles.
Yeah.
And that was the first repercharge of the whole program. And the fact that they took us both through, it was insane. I didn't actually know I went through. So I was holding her for, while we were waiting. We're just kind of like, well done, congrats. Like, we're just holding each other, like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And I look up on the board and her name is above mine. And I'm like, congratulations, you made it. Like, I was still proud. I was still so happy. I ran a PB. And then we walk off and she's like, no, you qualified. And I was like, bullshit. Like, what?
Yeah.
And she was like, no, you actually made it. They're taking us both through. And I didn't want to, I didn't fully take it in, because I was like, no, surely not. They're not taking two people in. But yeah, the fact that they took both of us, and I got to share what the Olympics is designed for. Like, the Olympics is designed to bring other countries together to share a passion and love for a sport or an event. And I got to experience that firsthand in my first ever Olympics.
Yeah.
You can't, it's
Terrorizing.
crazy. Yeah.
And these are the moments that I think bring the world together.
Oh, yeah.
Is when you watch someone like Nina and I forget the American champ when they split
Katie.
Yeah, when they split the medal at the World Champs. When you see the two high jumpers, I think it was from France and
Doha.
Yeah, Doha come together and split it, and the joy that they have for this moment. And some people might argue, fucking win at all costs. Fuck.
But you have to understand, it's like people are jumping for hours as well, like for high jump and pole vault, and that they're for hours, so it's exhausting.
Yeah.
But you get another moment or whatever. That moment for me, it was a repercharge, and I had a chance in the semi-final to better myself. But that repercharge is still forever my favorite thing.
It's something that this isn't something that people can go, I could do that. I mean, it is. But it's not it's a very small percentage of the human race in history has ever been able to do what you've done, which is incredible in itself. How does something like that make you feel?
It still hasn't hit me fully. Like, I still go out to the WA track and I still feel like I'm still the same 17-year-old person. Like, I like to be grounded as much as I can, and at the end of it's still weird to think that I'm out there and I'm an Olympian, and I used to think that of other people, but yeah, it still gives me goosebumps, and it's honestly just nice to share this experience with your friends and family. You do it, mentally yourself, but you have to have your community, you have to have your friends. And for me, coming from a country background, that meant so much to the community, so much to people. I grew up with people, and they were part of my journey from a young age. Just because I'm here now, everyone throughout my life has had an impact on me. Yeah. And the fact that people from my childhood to my high school were able to reach out and say oh, this is so exciting to see someone that we know. That means a lot to me. To have that community and to be able to give back and to be proud of that, it was just an honor.
It's the impact that you can have.
Oh yeah, I went back to my old primary school, and I felt like I was Taylor Swift. They were going crazy for me. I was like, I need to come back here more often for ego boost. But just the impact you have, it's just.
Well, I think
it's insane.
I think Jim Carrey said it was the impact we have on others is the most valuable currency we have.
I think so, 100%.
I like having that positive impact.
Yeah. And
it's infectious, and it makes people feel motivated to be able to do what they want, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Whether it's art, athletics, sport,
business, whatever.
Business, yeah, exactly. But that's awesome. But mate, I think that's awesome chat. We've gone for a little bit there. It's
a little bit.
So Anything you want to plug before we finish up?
No, not really. Just my social media, I guess. You can follow me at Alanah Yukich. I'm going to try and get into YouTube, fingers crossed. So I'm probably going to release my first YouTube this week.
Tutorials? Or
so this week, it's just I'm explaining my journey, pretty much similar to here, but I go a bit more in depth of my journey to qualify in the Olympics, and then just some, hopefully, travel vlogs, life vlogs. I want to obviously talk about how I changed my mindset and talk about how that. So just creating more platforms for people to connect and to communicate with me and to hopefully inspire, because, I want to share my story and be able to touch more people within the community.
Yeah, absolutely love that. I'm just going to plug my event that I am running in April 11th, Return to Zero conference at Planet Royale. Tickets are on sale now. So just another brief reminder of what it's about. A lot of people try to better themselves.
Yeah.
I'll explain it to you. This is the perfect way to explain it. A lot of people try and better themselves and improve themselves in life. But a lot of the times they don't address the traumas or the self-limiting beliefs that they've picked up over life. And then they take those same destructive patterns into the new version of themselves, and they're just going to end up where they were. So this conference is aiming at providing people with the tools. I've got 6 keynote speakers who are going to give you ideas on health and healing trauma. And we've got chronic illness, we've got psychedelics, we've got hypnotherapy, we've got gut biome, we've got nervous system through breath, and we have holistic health and whole foods. All of them are covered by our keynote speakers. And the best part is they all get the audience gets Q&A with all of the speakers, so you get to ask some personalised questions with them as well. So tickets are on sale on the Hard Yarns website and in my bio and in the Hard Yarns bio. So aside from that, thanks so much for coming. It was a fucking awesome episode. I really enjoyed that. Thanks. So hooroo.